No problem, no problem. You just watch my screen. You just proceed with my screen and then you can understand.
Okay, okay, sir.
Fine. Okay.
Sure,
Now,
sir.
this particular file, I have forwarded you two files. One is on, just a minute, sir. Just a minute. Is it fine now? Is my voice audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's audible.
Yes.
Perfect.
Clear now?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now I fixed it up. Fine. So now I have forwarded you two files. One is a document which is in Word document. The other one is an SPSS file. If you go through the download, like in whichever laptop you have downloaded this SPSS.
Your voice is breaking, sir.
Now?
It is badly breaking, sir. So sorry. I don't know why.
Just a minute.
Yes, it is. I think even I am facing that.
Professor Rajkumar, we are not able to hear you.
Just a minute, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's breaking.
Some audio.
Let's start now. Yeah. See, I have sent you one Word document which is measuring about evaluation of a training program, right? See, look at the questionnaire. Just concentrate more on the questionnaire by which you can understand the concept very well. See, if you look into it, like this is the topic which we were discussing by morning. Here I have a set of variables like section A, demographic variables, where there is like a gender, male and female, and age, below 30, 31 to 35, more than 35. Total years of experience, 0 to 5 years, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, and less than, more than 15. Profession, whether you are from academic background or non-academic background.
Sir, which file is this? The training questionnaire or the other file?
Training questionnaire, madam. Word document.
Okay.
Okay, just a minute. Yeah, is my Word document is clear? Can you see the Word document, what I'm sharing now?
Yes. Yeah.
Clear now?
On the
No,
screen.
it is just started to share. It is not yet shared.
Okay. There may be some, I might have missed out something. Fine, now it is clear, na?
Yeah, it's clear.
It has started now.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have an evaluation of training program. Under that, you have gender, male and female, age, below 30 years, 31 to 35, 35, more than 35 years. Likewise, you have certain demographic variable, whatever I have discussed now. Apart from that, you have one question as proficiency in using computer. Morning, there was one point which was raised. The way you are proficient in the system, right? So poor, mediocre, expert, and your educational background, HR, marketing, finance. And these are all some demographic variables which has been captured. And section B, there are training variables. So what are all the training variables? You go through the question items one by one. Training is held during convenient time and place. It is measured in a 5-point scale, which is like strongly disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree, right? This is a 5-point scale. We have seen enough by morning. We've seen what is like measurement scale. And you can figure out now, gender. Is it what scale, sir? Nominal, ordinal, interval?
It's a categorical, so it will be nominal.
Nominal. Right. Age?
Age will be ordinal.
Interval.
Age is ratio.
Interval. Sir, interval.
Okay.
Age is ratio.
Interval, correct.
There is different way of interpreting that.
Age is ratio.
Interval.
Fine. See here.
Age is ratio.
Once we ask the age directly, once I give a question or an item like age, I'm not giving any option. I'm not putting into certain buckets like below 30, 31 to 35 and more than 35. If I'm not doing that,
We can't hear you, sir.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Yeah, you're not
It's
audible.
absolutely impossible to hear you, sir.
Just-
Very difficult.
Can you
Same
switch
here.
off your video actually and then try?
Is it fine now?
Let's
Hello?
see.
Let's see.
We
Yeah.
hope.
Just a minute. Yeah, how about now, sir? Yeah, madam, can you hear me?
Yeah, sir. Now
Yeah,
it
this
is
is
okay.
okay.
Now it's okay. Like,
Slightly
I'll
better.
keep my video and then we'll proceed as such, hai na?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So now you have age and years of experience. See, if I ask a statement on age, like I'm not giving any choice. If I just ask age, for example, someone says 33 and the other person will be like 35, 40, 45, 57. something like that. If they give their age directly, then that can be considered as an ratio, as you
Ratio,
said, or it
right.
can be called as a scale. But if I give like age as a bracket, if I'm giving like below 30 years, 31 to 35, and more than 35, though it is having some hierarchy, but still it is considered as a nominal variable. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Because I'm
Okay.
giving a choice directly. So by that way, when I give a choice, this variable will become nominal. But if I collect directly, then that becomes continuous, right?
Dr. Rajkumar, a quick question. Why it is not an interval? And where?
That's what, ma'am. I have stated it as, you can call it as an interval or ratio. I'm just putting one term as scale. Interval and ratio together, it is called as scale. But here I'm giving a choice, 0 to, less than 5 years, or what is that? Okay, below 30 years, 31 to 35 years. I'm just asking them to categorize like which category they fall.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So I'm not getting an absolute figure. Means like if I just remove these options and I give age, if you represent your actual age, it will be like 33 years, 40 years, 41, 42, 43. Then in that case, it can be considered as a scale data, which is an interval or a ratio.
Okay. Okay.
But if you,
You might as well have given a name to these three categories instead of
I have given them and then asking the respondent to get placed in this. By that way,
Right.
it will be considered as nominal. All right.
Right.
Fine. So there are certain training variables. What are all the training variables? You can relate yourself. Training is held during convenient time and place, right? So you can relate. This training program is having, like whatever sessions we are having, it is held during convenient time and place. The duration of the training program is adequate. Sufficient breaks were provided between the session. Necessary softwares were provided in support of the session. Online platform used for the training was easy to access. Likewise, you have certain variables. Apart from that, if you look into it, content for the training program is updated based on present needs. Materials distributed are relevant and useful. Content is organized and easy to follow. Likewise, and there are questions like, there are certain items like trainer has given individual attention to each participant. Quality of the instruction was good, and then like trainer collected.
Sound is again being.
Is it fine, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever you're finding some disturbance, please let me know. I don't know, like normally there is no such issues earlier, but unfortunately I'm getting some issues by now. Anyway, if there is any issues, please stop me there itself so that I can come back once again. All right?
Okay.
Yeah, please. So likewise, there are certain trainer related variables. So these are all the things these are all the items which you have used for capturing the training. And if you look into the outcome, there is one section as outcome. This outcome which talks about your learning outcome or teaching outcome, whatever you have stated by morning, right? So by that way, I'm able to recognize the research related terminologies and concept, right? I'm just categorizing it as like before training and after training. I have two categories. One is before training and after training. I can create a research proposal by myself. I can prepare an effective research objective for a given topic. Am I audible, sir? Yeah. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Off and on, sir.
Yeah, intermittently.
No, it's okay. Whenever I'm getting, I'm not audible. I'll just check in between.
So right now, also the voice was sort of dragging.
Dragging.
Yeah, dragging sort of.
Okay.
Should we disconnect and come back again? Will it help? Because it is a very important session.
Let me check. That's a good suggestion. Just hold for 1 minute. Let me check.
So please try. Please try.
Look into the file. Go to open. Normally, whenever we want to open some file, we'll just click open now. Then click data. It will be like open the data. Then the most important thing is you convert this SPSS statistics.sav. Now it is a SPSS format file. If you save any kind of Word document, it will be like .doc. PPT will be like .ppt. Similarly, SPSS format is .sav. So here you try to change it as Excel because you are trying to bring in Excel. Na? There is no option as all files. There is no option as all files in this. So you try to change it as Excel. Then find out wherever you have saved the Excel file. Click on that. And then just click open. Once you click open, it will show like read variable name from the first row of the data. That is how we have entered in the Excel also. The first row is what your name. then just click OK. Your file will get imported. Right? So can we proceed?
That file will get imported to the data view worksheet or the variable view worksheet, the data view worksheet.
Sir, no issue, sir. You can change and see. It depends. It will be mostly in the variable view, but you can swap and check. Data view and variable view, you can swap. It is in your hand, your own comfort.
Yes. Okay, understand.
Right. Now we proceed with the next step.
Yes.
Yes, with all your support, like I'm proceeding further, and I'm closing it. Now what I'll do is, we'll open the file which has been forwarded to you. Sometime back I have forwarded in the chat also. I'm opening that particular file, which is our complete data, which is a simulated data. And this data set is what we're going to work further. Just give me some 2 minutes time. Let it get open.
Shall we open this data file in the SPSS software, sir?
Ha, madam, you can open, no issues. You can open and then simultaneously do it. But I suggest if you could listen carefully the steps, because this video, like, it will be available for you. And if you look into the steps carefully, certain steps, then you can do it by yourself and practice in another 2 to 3 days. Simultaneously, if you are comfortable, yes, I leave it to you. You can open and then do it simultaneously.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right. It's up to you. Fine. So now this is the data set which has been created. If you look into it, gender, age, experience, all the data, whatever has been collected, right, that has been entered here. And you can find all the labeling also, it has been done. Label is given, values is given. If you go to data view, the data is available here.
So, sir, I'm just reiterating what I have understood till now.
Please,
the data that we collect, from the questionnaire, we put that in a Excel file, and then we import that to this software, SPSS or any software that we will be using.
Yes.
And then this part comes, right?
Yes. Then this part comes.
Okay.
Now, this is my data. Now,
Dr. Rajkumar.
Yes, ma'am.
Just one question. If you go to the variable view, the variable view, not the data. Yeah, the role at the end. It has got is input the default one. I can understand, but does it have any other kind of implication?
This one, no, madam. No, madam. It doesn't have a role target. It is like sometimes we fix like, okay, this is my dependent variable. This is my independent variable. Earlier what happened was like, it was like, okay, this is my data, so you will fix up everything. Earlier version of SPSS, what happened was like, you have to fix up all these stuffs. But now the latest version, it is just like that, you can proceed.
Okay.
So for ease of understanding, you can fix like, okay, both. It can be an independent or dependent also. It can be a target. That's why I just insisted, like, whenever you are framing your questionnaire, first thing is you try to have a master questionnaire. Means like, take one single questionnaire, note down what is the coding you are giving for each and every item. Number one. Number two, after giving the coding, you enter the data and then save it, and with the save as option, use the file. Master file should be there always with you. That is the second one. Third, you try to make a paperwork like what is the concept you want to test. That should be done. That I'll come back while going further. Now this is the data completely. Now after getting the data, the first step what I'm supposed to do is you try to find out like, is there any error? How you will find out the error? There may be some data entry error. What will happen in Excel normally while we are entering, like we'll be in a hurry sometimes, and just a minute, let me open my Excel.
Dr. Kumar,
sir, we have lost
voices. No, I have stopped speaking. Just a minute, sir. Just a minute, ma'am. I'm just trying to open an Excel file. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. While entering the data, what will happen is, assume that I have given some names. Already I have given some, I've mentioned like what is the variable I'm using. While entering the data, assume that I'm taking a questionnaire. I'll write someone will be telling like 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So what has happened is like an error has happened in between. While giving a tab, while entering the data, sometimes it will be a typing error. because of which instead of 2 and 3, it will be 23. And I'll assume like, okay, it is 3. Now this data has been entered wrongly. So first of all, we have to make a data cleaning. So how you will make a data cleaning? You try to find out using this option. Just a minute, pull it down. Okay. You try to find out using this option. Let me introduce the tabs. One is file. Here you can find new data. It means like you are opening a new SPSS file. Just stay with the data itself and then open. You want to open some other data and you have an option as save and save as. Time being, you just try to understand this, and apart from this, I'm also not using any steps in this SPSS file. Edit.
Dr. Rajkumar, sorry, I missed one bit. How do you identify the error in data uploaded?
I'm just proceeding, ma'am. Before that, I'm just trying to introduce the options which is available. See,
okay.
So many options that are available, out of which we'll be predominantly using file. You'll be using transform to some extent and analyze. See, this analyze tab is the one which will give you all sort of analysis. Apart from this, we'll be using transform to some extent and file for saving and opening. That's it. So if you are comfortable and if you understand these two tabs, then that's more than sufficient. So now if you look into transform, there is an option as compute variable, which I'll discuss in the later stage. Means like today itself we'll finish it off. Recode into same and different variable, automatic recode, all these things you can explore in the later stage by yourself, because this is not ideal time to discuss on this. Looking at the time constraint, and since people are new for this software, I'm not going to go deeper into it. But I'll discuss on this analyze as what are all the tests that is possible. If you look into analyze, there is an option as descriptive statistics, which will be having frequency, descriptive, explore, and you'll have tables. Compare mean is one thing. You can take a note also. We'll be using predominantly descriptive statistics, and then compare means. There are certain tests which is applicable in this. After that, we have correlation, and then you have regression, and you have dimension reduction, which will be used for factor analysis. And there is one thing as scale, which is for reliability analysis. Just time being, just hear of these terms. We'll be working on this test also. Whatever I have mentioned now, we'll be working on all these tests. All right. So slowly you'll be getting into it. Now, I want to know whether there is any
error. Sir, can you please repeat once again, sir?
In analyze, you will be descriptive statistics option.
Yes, compare means.
And then compare means option. Correlation.
Okay.
Regression. Dimension reduction. Dimension reduction and scale. These are all the predominantly used, and if you know these options, that is more than sufficient for writing an article, as well as to a larger extent to a PhD work, to a larger extent. There are certain other options also, which predominantly it is not used, right? So we'll be dealing like which are all the basic statistical tools and essential statistical tool that is required for writing an article, as well as to do some thesis work. Now, I was telling about like how to clear the data cleaning, how we can do. I'll just go to descriptive statistics. Here, the first thing is frequency. Frequency is nothing but your mean. Frequency is like I can check it for gender, age, total years of experience, profession, background, proficiency. So what are all my demographic variables I'm trying to give for this demographic variable and trying to find out what is the frequency, because by morning we saw that for a demographic variable, mean will not have any meaningful interpretation. By that way, we want to find out how many male and female are there in my study, in what age group they are, what is the years of experience for them, what is the profession they are into, what is their educational background, and what is the proficiency in using the computer. I just want to find out the percentage, just like a polling. So
Dr. Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Just one question. The first thing that you say before the gender, there is an ID, but ID is over here is shown as a scale.
It should not be a scale, but it doesn't make any impact. It is for my own identification, but I can, you are rightly said, it should be a nominal.
Yeah.
This will be for my identification purpose. Definitely we can make it a scale. Right. Now going to analyze descriptive statistics, frequency. I'm taking the nominal variables. You can click one variable at a time and then use this option, arrow mark option. Click on that, it will come to the next side, right? So here, all variables, whichever we want to.
Sir, 1 second, please. Sir, Sir, just little slowly. We are not being able to.
No problem. I'll be repeating, ma'am. I'll be repeating. See, I have a gender option. I click on the gender, click on this arrow mark. Then this variable will come to this variable tab. Here is the location where most of the test will be conducted. Most of the test which I'm saying to the system, it will be done only in this area, variable area. So I want to do it for these nominal variables. I can click shift option and then select. This is a normal provision which we used to do it in our Word document. Same thing, you just click on these variables by holding the shift key. It will select the variables whichever you want. Then you click the arrow mark here. Now I brought my demographic variables from the left side to the right side. Is it clear as of now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. With all your permission, I'll proceed further. Now, there is an option of statistic. Here, whatever we want, we can calculate. But we'll not disturb this much because there are certain defaults which is already set. Chart, if we need, we can create. But the better choice will be like doing it in an Excel sheet. For your benefit, I'll just click on chart also. And then display frequency. These are all mandate checklist, right? So I'll repeat again. I've not done much of work. All the variables, whatever is available in my left, I'm just selected and then brought it here. Apart from that, I have not touched any key, just checked chart alone, just to show how the chart will appear here. That's all. Apart from this, I have not changed any option. Don't worry.
This is easy. This is easy. Yeah.
This video will be available in your Swadhyay portal and you can learn it anytime. So don't worry about the steps. We'll concentrate on results, right? So I'm just clicking OK. Simple step. I'm just clicking OK. Normally there will be a file which I'm working in which the data view and variable view will be available. There is one more file which will get opened. That will be the output variable, right? It will be showing us output. The file name will be output. In that, the interface may differ, means like you will be having some lines. So, but the output is same. Here, the concentrated area is like this, valid and missing. So what is happening here is like my total responses is 398. As a researcher, you will be knowing how much data you are collecting and how much data you are entered. But still, we want to find out, is there any missing data? So what is happening is like gender, there is no missing data here because missing is 0000. Even if it is missing data when it comes to demographic variable, we need not worry because we don't have choice to fill by ourselves. That is not right and that will affect the result. We'll show like out of the responses, this much is the gender and out of it, this much are male and this much are female, right? So what will happen here? You look into the gender table. I normally have a practice of copying this file into my Excel. You can save this also. Straight away click as save. It will ask you the location. You can save this file or else the choice will be, if you ask me, my choice will be like I'll copy this file. How I'll copy this file? It's simple, user friendly. Just click on the table, right click on it. As like what we do in our Word document or Excel, then copy, just copying. First time it will take some time. Then go to your Excel sheet, open an Excel sheet. You can give the name and then paste it. Just a simple copy paste, nothing more than that.
So you are saying, sir, we will not read the missing values, right? As part of our research.
As far as gender and age and all these stuffs are concerned, we cannot replace also. We cannot replace this. So by that,
we'll just leave it like that.
We don't have a choice to replace because it may be a female, who the respondent may be a female. But we cannot change it as male. It is not in our hands. So how much ever result it comes, normally we ensure that the data is filled. If it is not filled, then we cannot do anything. We are helpless. We'll go as per the result. That's it. And we'll write to report. I'll show you some missing values also. Here I have copied the gender and pasted here. Similar way, you can copy all the particular outputs. You can copy age, experience, profession, educational background, proficiency. You can copy each and every output, right? And then paste it. You look at
it just can be copy pasted in a document like
that. You
Word
can
or
copy and paste it in your Excel, and this will be the comfortable way also. I'll tell you why. Because if you save it in the SPSS format, and at one point of time you don't have the software or somewhere you forget the file, and it will be a deep trouble. So whatever you are working, whatever results you want, you try to change the name here. I'm changing the sheet name as demographic variable. Demographic. I'm pasting it here. When I do the next test, for example, if I'm taking a factor analysis, I'll rename it as factor analysis and then try to save it here. So my Excel sheet is easy access. And if I have a system where there is no SPSS also, I can see the result. You save the file.
Okay, okay, understood, sir.
Can we put it, sir, from here, everything together? I mean,
you can do it, sir. You can do it. You can copy it directly here. You can copy it completely. You can make it as, you click on any option and then Control A. It will select everything and you can paste it also. But in order to avoid clumsiness, the best option will be like make it crystal clear here itself. You just copy paste accordingly.
Means all these tables and charts are compatible with Microsoft Office. It
Excel,
can be
yes, sir. Yes, Excel.
It can be copied in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything.
Yes. You can copy it in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint.
Okay, that's good. That's quite easy. Yeah.
Yeah, but the best choice will be like Excel. Reason being, you can align, you can do whatsoever you want in this. Right? See, look into the output. Sir, my concern and my objective for the today's session and tomorrow's session is to make you clear why certain tests are done and what is the interpretation. How it is done in the software, it is easy. Step by step, you can learn. There are certain files which is uploaded in your Swadhyay portal. And if you want, you can look into the YouTube video also step by step. It is so easy. It will guide you. But by doing the result, what I'm supposed to interpret, that information you will not get much. And while reading an article, the test you can interpret so easily, but why it was done, that will be a big question mark. So by that way, try to concentrate more on the output and what is the interpretation rather than the steps. Because steps, there is a step-by-step guide which is uploaded in Swadhyay. Again, I'm mentioning, right? So, sir and madam, everyone, please concentrate on the result. This male, out of my entire study, total is 398. Out of this, male is 332 and female is 66. And percentage is 83.4 and 16.6 and showing 100%. And this valid percent is like, it will show the same thing if there is no missing. And cumulative percentage is the total. Normally, while reporting in an article or in a thesis, I'll not be concentrating on these two columns. I don't want these two columns, so I'll try to delete it. Means this is my data, which I'm supposed to, this is my result, which I'm supposed to represent in an article or a thesis. Now, what is the interpretation out of it? While interpreting these simple percentage results, again, I'm repeating, while you're interpreting this simple percentage results, don't try to report the frequency, percentage. This is a normal phenomena. Any study will not talk about the number of respondents. We'll try to go with the percentage. So try to represent the percentage. So how you'll make the interpretation? So this is how you'll make a general interpretation. I'm typing it for your
just one question in between.
Yes, sir, please.
So don't we mention the number of samples? I mean, in the
you can mention this number of samples is what your 398. You can mention it here as n also. You can mention it here as n is equal to 398, which is the total. Apart from that, there is a chapter as methodology. In the methodology, you'll be talking about the population, sample size. There it will be clearly given. How much is the sample size, right? So it is not required, but if you want, you can give it here. It's up to the researcher. It's up to the researcher. All right, sir.
Okay, I thought it would give a better idea. I mean, clear
definitely.
idea. Like...
You can add it. You can add it. Nothing harm in that. But normally it will be given in the methodology, and sometimes you can give it as n and make it as 398. And for better understanding of how to make an interpretation based on APA format, there are certain files which is uploaded in Swadhyay, which I have done already. You go through it and you can download certain files also. You can look into it, how to report simple percentage, how to report descriptive statistics, mean and standard deviation in APA format. Please look into APA format. And from now onwards, whichever reporting you are making, try to practice in the same APA format. That will definitely help you out because you will be having one format and that will be applicable for your article, which will be reviewed by topmost researchers. Also the thesis, which you'll be submitting at the end. So now I'm just trying to give a general understanding of how to interpret this. Whenever you are reporting.
What is APA?
American Psychological Association format, madam. That's a format as like Chicago format, MLA format. There are different formats, which is APA is a widely used format. And for 90% they'll be asking for APA format, American Psychological Association format, reporting format, right? So now whenever you are reporting, try to report the highest percentage first. The reporting will be like the above table infers that, you can use your own language, simple language, infers that 83.4 percentage or percent of the respondents were male and 16.6% of the respondents were female. Right. Now, what is the big finding in that? The query question is like, what is the big finding in it? Thing is, there is a finding in that. What is the finding?
It's biased toward male population.
Yes, there is a predominant male population in the training program, but the female population is also not ignored, because in my study there are 66 female respondents, which is accounting for 16%. It means there is a proportion of female respondent also. By that way, the study is not completely biased, though the percentage of male is high. Assume
so
that, yes,
sorry,
sir.
sir. No,
Please,
so,
sir, there is no issues. You just interpret in between. You ask me, because
sorry, sir.
ultimate goal is to give you clarity. Please.
So as scholars, as researchers for our research articles or for thesis, what is the balance ratio for the data, sir? Like here, 70-30 or 80-20, what is the rule that we follow?
You cannot decide on how much should I collect. It will be again a bias, because there is a concept of sampling. While doing sampling, based on that, if you are choosing a probability sampling, whichever the respondent comes, you are supposed to go with them.
Correct.
So by that way, you cannot have a fixing. If you are going with a fixing, like, okay, I'll collect some 60% male and 40% female, you're taking the other way around. There is nothing wrong in that, but still, how much balance you will make? Because we have so much of demographic variable. If you look into it, if, okay, I'm balancing like male 60% I'll cover, female 40%. But how I'll cover like 1 to 30, 30 years, 31 to 35, 36 years, the big question mark. I can fulfill the first criteria, but not the second one. But how much I can cover for academic and non-academic? So by that way, if you see in a holistic picture, we cannot conclude like, okay, how I can balance. The thing is like, we'll try the best possible to have a sample in such a way that it is widely distributed. Number one. Number two, you put a very valid question. If I have a data which is like 40, 50, 60 or 100, then this biasness will be there. Instead, if I go for a larger sample size, then probably we can reduce this error. Now, what is the larger sample size I'm supposed to go with? The question will be like, how much should I collect? It should be 2000 or 5000 or 500. What is the sample size? For which there is one reference, Creech and Morgan, or you can simply type it as Morgan table, right? You can type it as Morgan table in Google. This file I have made, I believe. If I have not put in Swadhyay, I'll add it up. There is one person called as Morgan, right? He has made a very good reference. He just created some output. Let me check whether I can share it now. It will take some time. Just a minute. Okay. Can you see my screen? Everyone can see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm opening a PDF file. Please concentrate on this. This is one of the topmost reference. It was done during 1970. And if you're a member of ResearchGate, you can find this Morgan, who is highly active in ResearchGate. And he made an article on determining sample size for research activities. And this was published in Educational and Psychological Measurement Journal during 1970. And this is the details, 607 to 610. So what he did is he used a formulae. And then based on the formulae, he said like, okay, it is 0.505. I'll tell you what is 0.05. And then he created a table. There he mentioned like N means population, S means sample. If I'm having 10 as my population, then I'm supposed to take 10 sample, 15, 14. If I have 230 as my population, then I can collect 144. You go further, you can look into this. If I have a 5,000 respondent as my population, it should be 357. You go further. If it is 50,000 as my population, if my population is 50,000, 381. Let it be like 10 lakh or 1 lakh or 10 lakh, 384. Beyond this, it will not move. Means if you don't know the population, if you're doing in a marketing, you will not be aware about like what is the population. By that way, if you're able to collect some 384 data, then that is more than sufficient to represent this particular population. And what will happen is like your errors will get minimized. The data will be considered as normal. Now I introduce one more term as normality. So what is this normal and non-normal? If you look into statistics, if you have a word with hardcore statistician, they'll be telling like, no, you're supposed to use certain test, parametric test only when there is a normality. So once the data is moving to a larger extent, if you have a larger data, then it is assumed to be normal. What is the larger sample size? What is the larger size? That is what this Creechan-Morgan tables are like 384. If even for infinity also, you can go ahead with 384. But for a safer side, to try to collect between 380 to 500. The sample size should be 380 to 500. If you do that, then obviously your data is considered as normal.
Dr. Rajkumar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So as I understand, to get the, to make a data into a normal kind of a...
it's so much noise.
It is 384. But the point is like, for example, if I'm researching a particular changes or attitude or trend across the world, right? I mean, there could be many number of players. So I'll go for 384 as an optimal number of sample, right? Population size. But the second point is, does Morgan table or any other table or the researcher look into to distribute this sampling from each category? Like if I'm taking for the in general that how is the trend in electric market, we have to understand it in the world. So do I need to take all the countries? There should be proper representation from all the countries. Is there a number or numeric value for which we should
now you if you define based on region and country, then probably if you want to give weightage, we cannot take from the entire world and say that okay, all 382 will be represented, because there are different scenarios, culture, practices, many things are there. By that way, the researchers should make some scientific way by which you choose certain countries and try to have a representative population. Right, sir? It's a scientific process where you have to make a representative population, but how much you can take? If you take some 20 countries, 20 into 500 will be like going somewhere. So by that way, the research should be feasible also, because we are looking into not into an industrial project kind, we are looking into an academic project perspective where feasibility is one big question. By that way, you try to ensure that it is feasible for you. So you try to choose, though there are so much of countries, you restrict to certain countries and collect the representative sample, and with that try to prove the results. All right, sir?
Dr. Raj, one question over here.
Please.
So in one of our classes, they told us how to calculate the representative population size.
Yes.
The sample. So there was a formula, statistical formula, which has been added. So for example, if somebody is doing a research on a Jharkhand, on a particular trend or a behavior in a Jharkhand with respect to vis-a-vis a particular product. So if I input the last strata data, which is the basically the census which is available, and then I arrive at to a particular sample size, would be a right calculation of that?
That will be a perfect one, sir. See, there is a formula which you are stating now. There is a formula
exactly.
Based on which this formula only all these values has been derived.
Oh, okay.
Got it, sir. Like it is not an assumption.
I thought this was an assumption. Okay.
Okay, and then you can find at the end like how this formula has been stated.
Okay.
Based on this formula only, those table has been formed. It's a ready for you. All right. Fine. So let me proceed.
So I do have a question. So my question is that, sir, when we are conducting the questionnaire, it might happen that some people, while taking personal interviews with the people, some questionnaires might be half filled, or few questions might be not be responded by the respondents, which are not primary in nature. So in that case, the total respondent figure which you are saying of 384 should be on the higher side, because
you try to make a caution, sir. Earlier you predict, you don't stick on to 384 at the initial stage itself. You try to collect some 450 or 500. It depends on the type of data collection. If you are using a mailed questionnaire, then it is expected that most of the time you will not get responses. If you are going personally and collecting, yes, obviously you will have a lot of data. If you are making it telephonically, then it has its own advantage and disadvantage. So on a safer side, you try to collect. But if it is going beyond certain level, up to a level of 350 or 340, it's fine. Because you say, I have collected this much data, and after entering, these are all my valid responses. You can stop it there. Okay. Right.
Dr. Kumar, just have a query on this thing. You said that, with the more the sample size that you take, there would be a more of a normal distribution that you'd be getting.
It is assumed.
Yeah, it is assumed. So is there any kind of, threshold level that actually below which we cannot, assume that there will be a kind of normal distribution?
Sir, 30 responses. For that, the reference is Andy Field. Morning, I have referred a book, Andy Field book. It is like Discovering Statistics Using SPSS by Andy Field. It's a very good book. It's like, if you have a chance, just purchase it or search in Google if you can get it. That's a wonderful book. He'll say, as per him, it is like less than 30. And for your information, like it will not be normal also, because if I ask a statement like, how was the session content? You will be saying like either agree or disagree, strongly agree. And for next one, it will be like disagree or strongly disagree. But still, for more sample size, you can assume that the data is normal. Right? It is again by right. So fine.
Because now, I do not know about what the population is like. I am making only on the sample. I am making an analysis. And based on that, I am trying to say that the population would be like this only.
Definitely, because we try to go only with the sample. But the sample, how we are choosing, that has to be scientific. Means like you have to make some lot of rigor. That you need some reading. Lot of reading is required. After that, make a scientific approach and state that my sample is an appropriate representation. That talks about validity.
Right.
My result will be valid, or rather, I can say like I can generalize my result to the entire population. Fine. Okay, now I have an option as analyze. Okay, right. We had an interpretation here. So here it is stating that 83.4% of the respondents were male and 16.6% of the respondents were female. Here, this I'm trying to show what is the sample composition in my study, in order to show that it is not biased. If it is biased, what has happened? Something you have to say in your findings, right? Apart from that, if I want to check for cleaning the data, I go to analyze. I'm just introducing the next tool. One is simple percentage. Second one is analyze. Descriptive statistics.
Sir, please repeat.
Same, madam. Analyze. Same option, descriptive statistics, where I made the frequency. I have an option as descriptives. Click on that. Now, for nominal variable, I've gone for a simple percentage and then concluded. But for the other variables, which is of scale variable, I try to select everything, whichever I have, whichever data I have collected, I push it. Here, I'm not going to make any analysis. I'm just trying to screen whether there is any data entry error. So I'm clicking OK. So what will happen is, like, you look at the table, you look at the figure or chart, which is created by SPSS. This you may not like it, but you can create a good chart in your Excel. That also I'll show you now. So you look into it. Before that, we'll interpret this data. So I have a scale variable. What is the scale variable? I have response from 1 to 5, right? 1 to 5 means in my questionnaire, I'll show the questionnaire also. So now this is my questionnaire. All these items are measured in a 1 to 5 point scale, 1 to 5, right? 5-point scale. Now, is there any data entry error? Because I'll be typing as 4, 4, 4, 5, 5, 5, 3.
Sir, we could not hear anything.
Now it's fine, ma'am?
Sir, we could not hear anything.
Hello?
Kindly repeat.
Okay. Now what is happening is, like, while entering the data, especially with regard to this questionnaire, I'll be entering as 5, 5, 4, 3, something like that in my Excel. So there should not be any typo error. See, look into the first variable. Are you all in the same page? Look into the first variable, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Madam, can you see the first variable? What has happened is, like, n is 398.
Yes, sir, we can see.
N is 398. It means my total respondent. Minimum is 1. For the second one, it is 2. It means none of the respondents is given an option as 1. So no issues about it. It can be 3 or it can be 4 also. But the problem is with this maximum. Maximum, what is the value here? 44. Look at the first one. The maximum is 44. So what has happened is, like, instead of typing as 4, while entering the data, either you enter it or on your behalf, if someone is entering, then they made an error. Instead of 4, they made us 44. And what happened to the mean? It is getting shooted up. right?
Yes.
And this is not the right data. So this data I'm trying to figure out. Likewise, whatever data entry you made, if you want to clean the data, look into the minimum and maximum, leave out the mean for time being, look into the minimum and maximum. It should be between 1 to 5. It can be 1 to 4 also, because if someone has not given 5, then obviously there will not be any 5. But it cannot be more than 5. It cannot be 6 or 7 or 100 or whatsoever. So by that way, you look into it. While just having a glance, physical glance on the data, everything is between 1 to 5. Only problem is with this particular maximum.
So I have a question here.
Yes,
suppose if this data is correct, you go and edit the main file and you find the 44 is genuinely 44 and there is a skewness in the data, then what do you do?
Sir,
suppose if,
what is the type of statement what we have? It's a 5-point scale.
Correct.
If it is a 5-point scale, if someone has made us 44, it's an error again, because it is going.
Okay. From that perspective,
it cannot be 44 exactly. So we'll do is,
in that case, we can discard that sample as well, right?
In fact, or discard that observation, perhaps.
Discard
the observation will go away.
Maybe, but you can look into it and correct it. There are 2-3 options which
data entry error, I feel. So
yes.
In fact, if the entry is wrong, then in that case we'll correct it.
We'll correct it. How you'll correct it? That is where your ID plays a role. What I'll do is, while entering the data itself, I made an ID 1, 2, 3, 4. The same ID will be marked in my questionnaire physically also. For example, if I have 400 data, first questionnaire while entering, I'll make it as 1. I'll write it on the questionnaire as 1. So this is my reference. So what you'll do is, if there is an entry error, for example, if it is in right, I'll just check it up. How I'll check it up? There is an ascending and descending option, right? You click on this particular variable which you want to make it, right click it. There is an option as sort ascending and sort descending. Simple option. In your right click, it is available. What we do for cut, copy, paste, the same area you will have sort ascending and sort descending. Here it is descending, means like highest value. Click on that, it will take you to the variable. Means like it is sorting. And which is the ID? 218. Who is the 218? Go to your questionnaire and refer. If it is something in the other area, if it is genuine, we leave it. If it is 1 to 5, in that there is an error, then you look into the questionnaire and see what is the response that is given. It can be 4 or it can be 5 or whatsoever. You try to give the right response.
In real scenario, would we ever have this scenario? Because we would be decoding everything in a SurveyMonkey or the questionnaire, and it will be all online. So when we actually take the Excel extract, we would exactly have what we have coded, right?
Exactly.
So are we going to have this kind of scenarios ever in our real scenario?
If it is online, no issues. If it is offline.
Yeah.
It is
labeling and coding if we are doing it manually. Because
and when you are coding this, then obviously you will have this issue. So by that way,
Professor Rajkumar, one question.
Yes, sir.
Like in Excel, you have the the option to do a filter. You can apply a filter on the top of a row, row headings, or column headings like that. Now here, is there any option where you can put a filter on this column headings?
No, sir. No, sir. As like Excel, we don't have. There is no filter option here.
But then you have to do a descending or ascending sort just to find out the highest or mean, max or mean in that. That's the
exactly, sir. There is no option like that.
All right.
Sir, I have a question. If there was a standard deviation that was shown, the final column. So, is there any particular range for that standard deviation?
Sir, we'll come back to that standard deviation a little later. It should not exceed your mean. Normally, that will be the point. It should not exceed your mean, right? Okay. Standard deviation should not exceed your mean. But I'll come back to that point. I'll come back to the point while going for representing the data. All right. Time being, like just for to answer you, this standard deviation should not be much deviating. Some phone call, I believe. Okay. Right.
Sir, I've got a very basic question. Can you explain what is a scale variable? I mean, is it a continuous variable? Because like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So would the descriptive statistics actually be applicable for a scale variable? Can you relate this if I missed out?
Scale variable means like if I take a mean score, I'll just come back to that, sir. Like if I take I'll hold your question with me.
No problem.
I'll answer this at
Thank
one
you so
point
much.
of time. Like this
Dr.
scale will have
Rajkumar,
interpretation. Yeah.
Sorry, I have potentially a very, very basic and stupid question, maybe.
Madam, I just give a briefing. There is no question as silly. You just ask whatever you have in your doubt. At the end of the day, everyone should be clear with your content. That's what my objective for the day. So please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So we could figure out the error in the typo error based on the mean and max values. Right? Now, what about no, I got my answer.
Okay, fine.
Dr. Kumar, if you can just, how did you get this descriptive statistic? If you just quickly, if you can just tell me that how you went around. I think I didn't get it.
Go to analyze, descriptive statistics, and then descriptive. Descriptive statistics and descriptive. Can you see the screen? Just click that.
Yes.
Just click it and push all the variables and then click OK. That's all. Okay. So getting back to the point, I have cleared this particular variable. Now I'll try to make a.
Sorry for cutting you off, sir.
Yeah, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, adding to Simi ma'am, like when we are having the data coded for ourselves, like here we have coded it 44. So then it become easier for us to identify where is the error. But suppose instead of writing 2 or 3, we have written something else like 4. So where we can validate that?
That error cannot be validated, sir. Because it's a typing error. That error cannot be validated by any way. That's why most of the time I can say like 75% of the time will be gone with data collection and data entry. So that has to be carefully done with limited contents. That cannot be validated. Okay. Right. Now I have just looked into it. So look at the standard deviation. Earlier it was, because of 44, it was 2.149. But look at the standard deviation here, it is 0.758. Now getting back to your question, sir, you asked about standard deviation. See, standard deviation, as you all know, that's the basic stuff, like there is a mean, how much from the mean the responses are getting deviated. That's what is standard deviation in general, right? So it cannot be 0.000 also. If that is the case, there is no variation in the particular data what has been collected. That item cannot be used. I mean, like if training is held during convenient time and place, if I have a standard deviation of 0.000, it means there is no deviation at all. It can be closer, but it cannot be exactly 0. At the same time, it cannot cross the mean. If it is crossing the mean, that is so much of deviation, right? By that way, I'll try to ignore that variable for my further analysis. Now, I just tell you one basic stuff which you should keep in mind while doing any kind of analysis.
I would like to ask one thing.
Please, ma'am.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Voice is breaking.
Yeah, sir, I would like to ask one thing. If we see the standard deviations for most of the responses, it's below 1. But for certain responses, the standard deviation is more than 1. So is that anything kind of we can infer from this, or is it like how should we see
there is
this?
No issue unless otherwise the standard deviation is crossing the mean. There is no issue. You can report it as such. It will
be okay.
Right. Now, always remember this. We have a theory. Again, I'm getting back to our morning's discussion. We have a theory. Means like you have created a concept. This concept, what you have framed, means like whatever model you have developed based on the theory. Today morning, we have created a simple model where we said like training content and then learning outcome. If you have a theory, it means your topic, you have a model which was strongly created with all validity. This theory, I am trying to test using a data. How I am trying to test? I'm trying to test using a data. Instead of equal to, I'll make it as arrow mark. This theory is getting tested. This theory is getting tested by means of a data and getting validated by statistics. This is statistics. Right? This is statistics. It means this is my core. Right from morning, I'm highlighting this point. Theory is the base. Your concept is the base which is created from your research question by means of ResearchGap. And this theory you're trying to test by means of collecting data and then validating it by using statistics. So this is not the primary stuff which you are supposed to concentrate more. And the most important stuff is this theory. You concentrate more on creating the concept in a proper way, which can be collected the data. Of course, everywhere scientific rigor will be there, but theory is the base, right? So now what we are doing is like we are trying to test the same thing. What has happened is like we want to find out, now the data cleaning is done. Any queries in this data cleaning? Is it clear as of now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So that we can proceed further. Now, I said like I'll show you some graph also, right? So what is that graph? See, this is my table. Instead of making it in SPSS or direct output format, where I'll be feeling it tough to edit this graph or chart, right? We'll make it as a chart. This chart editing is very tough, which is obtained from SPSS. But in Excel, you can do wonderful charts. I'm just copying it. This you have to exercise by yourself. I'm just showing you a demo. That's it. So I don't want this frequency column because any kind of chart will be representing the percentage. So by that way, I'm merging this cell also. This you need some exercise, sir. You can explore. Everyone, please try to explore. What I want to do is I don't want this 100%. I select this in a higher version of your Excel. It will show insert. In insert option, you can have some recommended charts. Try to click on whichever chart you want. Click on that. The chart will get created. And it's highly editable because you're doing it in Excel. It is more user friendly. You can change the pattern also. These things you try to explore by yourself, how to make a beautiful chart that you can represent. I can bring it as a call out option also. And then I can change the color. You do whatsoever, you can play around. But the output chart, what you are getting it here, it is very hard to change. So once you're doing any kind of chart related work for your thesis, try to go with Excel. Is it fine, sir? Okay. Yeah, fine. Now, likewise, I have for some simple percentage for my, I'm just proceeding once again, analyze frequencies. In this, I had some nominal variable for which I have checked. I checked the missing variables also. Here also I checked, and then I'm trying to change I'm trying to clean the data. Now, what is the concept I want to work for? Now here comes the theory and the concept. So what I'm trying to find out is like, I don't know what are all the variables. I'll go to the questionnaire. See, these are all the questionnaire questions or items which has been taken based on literature. You can see a pattern in this. Can you figure out a pattern? Training is held during convenient time and place. It talks about time and place. Next about duration, break, and then support, then online platform, then cooperation. What these things are representing?
One of the thing is
flow of information, a proper structure and the flow of gathering
information. Similar kind of thing, like when we are talking about training, then one is the place and then the training duration, which is again related to training.
Okay.
Then again the breaks, which is again related to the training duration. So these have been clubbed, or rather I would say these have been sequenced like that.
I just use one word to add up your points, sir. There is a pattern?
Yeah, pattern. Yeah.
Great. Now what about this 7 to somewhere around 12? Just go through this content. 7 to 12. It talks about content for the training program.
Yeah.
material.
Yes,
Here
that is a content.
The content of the materials.
Again, there is a pattern.
Then objective of each topics are fixed and implemented, and content is organized and easy, right? So all these things are talking about the content, training content, right? And what about the items from 12? The presentation of the trainer was interesting. Trainer has given individual attention to each participant. Quality of instruction was good.
It's pertaining to the trainer's category.
Exactly.
It's all about
It is exactly relating to the trainer. Now, how I got this variable?
Professor Rajkumar,
Yes,
now
sir.
the Excel file that we have prepared in the morning,
yes, sir.
that variable, okay, dependent, independent,
Exactly.
and all those.
Yeah.
So all those items are coming in that serial, that blocks. The blocks are representing that.
And in fact, that blog was created by all the participants. Whatever you have mentioned.
Correct. All of us created that. Yes, all of us. Yeah.
So now, what is happening?
This is linked to that. Yeah.
What is happening is like we had a concept as we mentioned about factor. We mentioned about item. If you recollect by morning's discussion, we were talking about like there is a factor. Okay, right. I'll remove this. There is a factor which is a job satisfaction. There are certain items which are measured, right? I just made us 1, 2, 3, something like that. This we call it as a factor, and these are items which are directly captured. We call it as items or variables. This can be called as an items or variable. Same thing is happening. These are all the variables which has been captured, which has been used to measure something. This 1 to 6 is trying to measure the training environment. Can I name it as training environment? 1 to 6?
Yes.
If you look into it, it is
Yes. Then training content.
7 to 11, it is talking about training content.
Right.
This 12, it is talking about trainer, means like delivery by the trainer, trainer's delivery or content delivery, something like that. Now, if you correlate with the morning's talk, any kind of work, what you do, you try to identify items from the literature, and that will have a pattern. If you do that, if you collect the items in a proper way, sir, am I audible now?
Yes.
There was a call in between, that's why my net got some slowdown. Now I believe like it is fine. Yeah. Okay. So if you look into this, there is a pattern from which based on the theory or whatever discussion we had by morning, we have made all the items, and there is a pattern what we are deriving. Now, this pattern has to be tested. How we will do it? This pattern has to be obtained as a single factor. There are two options. One thing we call it as factor analysis. So how we will do factor analysis? I believe everyone are on the same page. Now we want to create a factor. How we'll do the factor analysis? Simple. Go to analyze, then go to scale, the dimension reduction, right? Analyze, then dimension reduction. There is an option as factor. I'm here. Everyone are here? Analyze, dimension reduction, and factor. Can I proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll try to take all my independent variable. So I'm dragging my independent variable, which is from TE1. I've already named it since it's a training session. So I just named it. I'm taking up to CD. What is mentioned as CD, I'm trying to take up to that. BT is before training and AT is after training. So before training and after training is my outcome variable. If you look into the questionnaire, you can find out like up to 19 items, it is my independent variable. And after this, section C is an outcome variable, which is before training and after training. So I'm trying to make a factor analysis for my independent variable. So what I'll do is I have selected all my independent variable. As usual, I'm making a click here, and then it came here. What I'm supposed to do? I'll put it in chat if it is possible. Can someone just click a hi, sir? I couldn't find the chat option. Yeah, I got it, I believe. Yeah. See, first go to analyze. Yeah, I got it. Go to analyze. Then proceed with dimension reduction. Then proceed with analyze, then dimension reduction, select the variables, select the independent variables.
All independent variables.
All independent variables. Okay. Bring it to the right.
Yes.
To variable place.
Sir, please repeat once again. Sir,
Madam,
please repeat once again.
I'm just typing. You bring it to the variables, right? Till this step is available here. And after that, you click.
So just one thing. So I'm not getting the same window pattern in my software.
Even I'm not getting
kind of
different.
So it's becoming a little difficult. Matching with yours.
It will differ, sir, because I'm using an older one, and you might have downloaded the newer version. So interface will.
In fact, yours one is the better one because it shows the variable names, the total complete variable names. We are not able to see that.
Exactly. Even I am not able to.
Sir, in dimension reduction, there is
you
no
just
option of
enlarge it.
selecting.
You just drag and enlarge it.
But there is no option.
So you can enlarge.
In dimension reduction, there are only
like
three
this?
options: factor,
like
analysis, and optimal scaling.
Ma'am, dimension reduction.
After that, there are only three options showing: factor, correspondence analysis, and optimal scaling.
You just go for factors. Okay, I missed out one step. Okay, dimension reduction and factor.
Okay.
Okay. Now what I do is like, sir, no problem, sir. You can explore. Everyone, you can explore. You have the software with you. You can explore by today. But now you just try to concentrate. I'll upload the file as earlier as possible. So I selected this, and then I go to descriptive. I'm going to the first option, that is descriptive.
Descriptive.
Here I'll click on KMO and Bartlett's test of sphericity.
Okay.
This is for what?
Enabling this. I'll come back to
Sir,
that.
Can you just repeat once again? After you've chosen all the variables, then where did you go?
Go to the first choice, that is descriptives.
Right hand corner, descriptives.
Descriptive in the top right corner. You go to KMO and Bartlett's test of sphericity, last one under the correlation matrix. Just click on that and then continue. Right. Now there is no need for extraction. You don't worry about it. It is not required. The default is kept as principal component. Go to rotation. I have left the extraction option. I'm going to rotation. Go to rotation.
Method.
Click on Varimax. See, these are all various options that are available, but I am not a statistician. I just want a result which is followed and which is widely used. So I am just following the same sequence. So you also don't worry much as of now. You try to.
I'll call you back.
Click on Varimax. Are you here? Everyone are here on the same page?
Yeah.
Click on Varimax.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Click continue. Scores, we are not using anything. Just to show you, I'm just opened. I'm not going to do anything on the scores. Go to options. Last one, options. If you want, you can checklist both, or you can checklist or sort by size.
Sorted by suppress small coefficients.
Sort by size. If you want to suppress, yes, you can suppress. Now, I'll tell you what is the suppress option. See, if you look into the format, any item. For example, I have one item as one item in my independent variable as convenient time and place. I'm using it for measuring about training environment. So here it is convenient time and place. This is my independent variable. Any item which is representing or which is used to capture a construct, this construct will be, we have changed the construct. This construct, we have named it as training environment, right? So just now we identified there is a pattern and it can be called as training environment. So now for this training environment, if I'm using an item to capture it, it should have a loading of 0.30. What is this loading? This variable is contributing minimum of 0.3. This reference you can find it from Heron Black Book, and strictly speaking, it should be 0.50. All right. At the higher end minimum, it should be 0.5 and above. You have a very good data, and your respondents have given a very good responses. If it is less than, if it is 0.3, still you can accept. If it is less than 0.3, then I'm not supposed to consider this item, and the software will automatically knock off. Means like this particular exploratory factor analysis will automatically suppress that item which is having a loading less than 0.3. Am I clear with this point? If there is any doubt,
if you can repeat this.
Okay, I'll repeat. Any item what I am capturing, it should have a minimum contribution of 0.3. Means like this item is contributing about 0.3 towards the screening environment. This is the level which is minimal accepted. But strictly speaking, it should have a contribution of 0.5. It means 0.5 means 50% this item is contributing towards the construct. Now, what is the item? The item is the first one, that is convenient time and place. This particular item I have captured from the respondent, that is you people have responded for it, and this seems to be contributing 0.5 towards the construct training environment. Then only I'll consider. Worst case scenario, 0.3 I can consider, or else this item will be deleted by the software itself.
This point, Dr. Rajkumar, this 0.3 is the contribution or it is the coefficient?
It's a coefficient, sir, but it's again considered the other way as the contribution.
Contribution, okay.
Yeah, both the way. So now what is happening is like I'm
just sorry, I just interrupted you. But suppose you have got 5 items, and that is one construct that is there. He has got 5 items. Each of the items that you are saying is a contribution that what he is making to the construct. Yeah. So anything is the total contribution has to be 1, or it is not like that?
It will not be 1, sir. It cannot be 1, because altogether it cannot be 1. Why? Because these items are what? These items are used to capture a factor or capture a construct. Normally, whatever has been captured, if I say this item is second item, if it is contributing 0.7, it means what? Out of 1, the total contribution is 0.7, and the rest is my error. Means it is not captured. Or
that means 0.3 cannot be explained.
It cannot be explained, because we are talking about like human responses. If it should be 1, it will not be 1, because everyone will not give the same responses. Then there is an error. There will be variation. That is why we call it as a variable.
Okay.
If it is there, then that's a different scenario. So, I mean,
one question I had: is there a upper limit as well?
Upper limit will be it cannot be more than 1.
Okay.
This contribution cannot be more than 1. If it is contributing completely 1, that is also an error. It will not. Because yes, sir. Any response. Let me complete this. Yeah. Any variable which is contributing, it cannot be having 1 fully, because if you have you have a construct as TE, right? And I don't have any kind of item. I have only one item. Then probably this will be contributing. It can be 1.
Yes.
It will be 1, because nothing. There is no difference.
Hello.
Madam, voice is breaking. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, Rajkumar. Yeah, Dubindu sir, you can ask, please.
Yeah. So that means one that you are saying is that even if we have only one item, that might not be also contributing to the exactly 1, because there would be always some human error which would creep in.
In this case, it will be 1, because the item what we state is again the factor. One item cannot be a factor.
Right.
So by that way, that logic will not work out, right?
Yeah.
So Rajkumar sir, my question was, suppose if at the beginning of the study, if one of the researchers has decided that I am doing a study on the influence of services for 4-wheeler, services that provided after sale services that is provided on the 4-wheeler, and its influence on the purchasing behavior of the car.
Okay.
Now, I have decided a variable which is impacting my consumer behavior, which is the dependent variable. Now, that means if I have to basically first collect the data, run this analysis, and then only I should further do any, because if I found that if it is less than 0.3, then that basically means that my whole idea of doing this research does not make sense, because then I might end up doing that it does not impact the consumer behavior, because the ultimately result is like that.
Yeah, what will happen is like, sir, we are talking about the attitude and we are talking about the pattern which we try to measure. Once we are trying to measure the pattern, you feel that is an important variable. But the data what we have collected, of course, you have collected from review of literature, finding that this particular item is much more important for my study.
Correct.
Data you have collected with more rigor, but still if that item is not having much of influence,
True.
Then the consumer mindset is like that. They are not considering that as an important item at all.
Correct.
Right, sir? Okay. Right. I'll just proceed further, and after that we can have solve the queries. Let me run the test. So I'll just click continue. Till this you are here. I'll repeat. I have brought all my variables here. In descriptives, I have clicked on KMO and Bartlett's test of sphericity. I'm going to rotation. I clicked Varimax. I went to scores. I have not done anything. In options, I've given a sort by size and suppress small coefficient, right? I just forgot to say one thing. Eigenvalue. Where is the eigenvalue? Okay, right. So here in extraction, extraction, there is one option as eigenvalue. We are not disturbing, but just I want to highlight any number of items which together forms a particular factor. If the value is more than 1, then that will be considered as a factor. So it is a default one. Just keep it in mind as of now. We don't want to disturb that. I'll click OK. Let us see the output and interpret and come back to queries. So now, sir, definitely this output.
Can you show it once more?
Sir, it was too fast. Please tell us once.
No, I have not altered any options. I just went to the dimension reduction. I have brought the items here. In descriptives, I have clicked KMO. And after that, in extraction, I have not disturbed anything. I just said one word like there is an option called as eigenvalue greater than 1. Why this 1? If 2 or 3 items or any item which is having value more than 1, that will become a single factor. It is a default algorithm which is set in the software. Just I said like this 1 is the cutoff value after which certain items together it will form a factor. Sometimes one item also will form a factor. How it happens, I'll show during the result. And as of now in rotation, already we have clicked Varimax. In options, we have clicked sort by size and suppress small coefficient. So
where are you referring to median?
Sir?
Where are you referring to median?
No, sir, I'm not touching any of the terms like mean, median. I'm not touching any stuffs. Just it's a eigenvalue. It's a cutoff value which the software has set by itself. I'll tell you how it works once we see the result. Right, sir? I've run the test. I have run the test as of now. You look into it. There are certain outputs what we have received. Now, the ultimate point.
Excuse me, sir. One question, sir.
Please, please.
Sir, in dimension reduction, in rotation option, what did you say, sir? What should we check?
Varimax.
That Varimax. After that?
After that, okay, in rotation, you click Varimax. That's all. You don't want to do anything. Close it.
Okay.
In options, you will be clicking on sort by size and suppress small coefficient. Up to this, if you have reached, I'll proceed further. Right? Now, I need your complete attention for the next 10 minutes. We may be extending for another 10 minutes. So please give your complete concentration. This output format will not be the same as what you have received. I have made some alterations.
Sorry, I didn't get this output. So I have to click OK now.
Sir, click OK, sir. Click OK.
Okay. Okay, yes.
So it will be somewhere the value will be differing because I have changed the 44 as 4. If you recollect in T1, I have altered that 44 as 4.
Yes.
If some of you have not altered it, then the result will be something different, right?
Yes, yes.
4 and 44, there is a big difference.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, now you please concentrate.
And this KMO and Bartlett's test in the above, it's not showing. The communalities that is showing.
You might have not checked that, ma'am. You might have not checked that. You might have missed that step. Where you might have missed is like you go to the descriptives. In there, you might have not checked. You have to check this. Means like you have to activate this. It will be deactivated. You have to click it. Activate that. Then click continue.
Okay.
All right.
So in fact, what I'm seeing on the report page also, we can change the options. I mean, while
yes, sir, you can do it here also. You can do it in output also. There is no hard and fast rule. You are supposed to go to that file. You can do it here also because it's integrated, so it will work. So now, just leave out the working from your end. Just concentrate on my screen so that you will get some better output. Now, what is this KMO and Bartlett's test of sphericity? This KMO tell me like whether my sample size is adequate to measure all the variables what I have taken for the study. I'm just copying the KMO test of KMO and Bartlett's test of sphericity value. I'm copying it and pasting it in my Excel. What is this KMO value will tell me? This value will tell me like whether my sample size is adequate or not. So you can find it here like it is mentioned, measure of sample adequacy. Now, what is the cutoff value? I'm just typing it here. KMO value should be more than 0.5. This is the cutoff value which is given as a standard, which you can refer the Haran black book, or you can type what is the cutoff for KMO. This reference value will be there. So KMO should be more than 0.5, and Bartlett's test of sphericity value should be less than 0.05. It means 5% level, right? It is 5% level. It should be less than 0.05. This is your cutoff value. So if this KMO is more than that, and if your Bartlett's test of sphericity value is less than 0.05, so we got a value as 0.000, it is definitely less than 0.05, then we say that the sample what we have collected is adequate with the existing independent variable. The sample is adequate for my study. We are showing the first statistical authentication that the sample is adequate. Am I clear? So now I'll go to the next.
Yes,
am I audible, sir? Madam, you are with me? Everyone
Yes.
with me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to keep your attention, because it's the last minute, so I don't want any of you to miss the important point. That's why I'm just
can I just go back to the Excel sheet which you typed regarding KMO
Rajkumar, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. Amen. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Completely it went away, the video and audio both.
Is it visible for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now it's visible.
Okay.
Yes.
This time I'm safe, ma'am. My end is clear then. Okay, right. So this is about the first interpretation. Second interpretation, I look into the total variance explain. Now, what is happening with this total variance explain? There are certain components which has been formed, right? I'll copy this also for your easy inference. Just be with me with this slide. You can understand the concept first, and you can work out later. Now, what is this total variance explain? In this total variance explain, it is showing that how many items we have total in our questionnaire, independent variable? Total 19?
398.
Total 19? Out of this total 19, it has created all total 19 here, 19 are here. It is trying to create component based on that. And wherever the eigenvalue is more than 1, you look into this table, initial eigenvalue, wherever the value is more than 1, here it is 1.490, it is proceeding further. It means the further rows are getting extended. If it is less than 1, it will not form a component at all. It is not forming as a factor at all. Can you relate why I said like eigenvalue should be 1? So by that way, by making all the combinations within the available 19 statements, the particular study is able to derive only 3 valid components. Are you all on the same page?
Yeah.
Can I proceed further? Now,
Yes.
now I believe like you will be having some kind of having a bitter guard. So that now the concept is like kind of having a bitter guard. So let me make it little bit.
So this is principal component analysis.
Principal component analysis. You will get this.
Okay.
And look at the last table. Here it is rotated sum of squares. You look at this. There is a final cumulative value. What is the cumulative value? It is 55.656. See, this overall 19 item together, what we have taken, out of it 3 components or 3 factor which has been formed. Together it is explaining about 55.65%. It means 56% total, right? So the cutoff for this is, it should be more than 50%. It means whatever independent variable items I have taken for my study, it should be more, it should have a value of more than 50%, so that hello, yeah, can I proceed, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
It should be more than
Yes, sir.
50%. This is the cutoff. See, whatever I'm saying is cutoff, it is as per the theory and research as well as the statisticians all together. This is the cutoff value. Now you remember the cutoff value alone. Further things you can learn slowly. You just look into the cutoff. KMO, it is 0.5. And then Bartlett's test of pericity, it should be less than 0.05. And this cumulative percentage should be more than 50%. 60% will be very good. If it is 50%, it is acceptable. There is no hard and fast rule. Yes, you can go ahead with 50%. Now, you look into the third table. What is this? This component matrix is not required. You move further, there will be one thing as rotated component matrix. Now, I am trying to interpret three major tables. One is KMO test, number one. Second is total variance explained. I have mentioned about it. Third will be rotated component matrix. I select this and I'm copying as usual. I'm going to my Excel sheet to make my work easy. I've pasted it here, or rather I'll put it in a separate sheet so that I can show you the variables. Now, can you see my Excel sheet, sir? Yes.
Hello.
Can you?
It's not clear.
Just a minute, sir. Just a minute.
It's not clear, sir.
Yeah, it's not clear.
Now?
Something. Hello.
Yeah.
Now it's clear, sir?
It's okay now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what has happened in this sheet? Each item is contributing somewhere around more than, what is the cutoff we have mentioned? We said like each one should at least represent 0.30, but 0.5, strictly speaking, anything more than that is a very good contribution, right? So this 0.30 is the cutoff what we have kept. That's why this item is getting loaded in all the three areas, but since we have suppressed less than 0.3, any value with less than 0.3 will not be reflected here. I'll show the results without the suppressing also, but if you look into it, this trainer covered the content within the stipulated time. The highest value is 0.722, which is in the first component. It is also contributing to the second component, which is 0.317. Third one, it is less than that. It means whichever is the highest value, you try to relate that particular item to that component. What I'm doing now, I'll just show two outputs to you. First is like whichever is the highest that has been highlighted here, I try to select everything and then make it as one factor. I'm giving one particular color. Now, second component, the other items I'm selecting and then making it as one component. And the third item, okay, this also will fall in that. And the third will be like, okay, this also will fall. The third will be like, this will be one factor. So now how I concluded it as a factor, you look into the component. If you look into the result here, there are only three components which was formed. Are you here? There are only three components that were formed. Yes, sir. You're here. Everyone are here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
it will be little bit complicated, but just be with me. I'll make it easy. There are only three components that has been formed, and these three components are represented here, which is again the output from the SPSS itself. I'm looking into the values. Any value more than 0.3 will be highlighted. Less than that, it will not be highlighted. But out of it, though it is showing 0.722 and 0.317, let it be 0.534, assuming. Though the three values are there, I'll see the highest value. Which is the highest value? 0.53 or 0.722? 0.722. By that way, I'll take this particular item belong to this component. So that's how I have highlighted this as one component. And if you look into the presentation of the trainer was interesting. There was no loading at all. It means this item is not having any influence in my study, right? This is a simulated data. That's why this particular variable is not there. But if you have a real data and real study, then that item you have to justify why you are removing. By that way, I can remove this item from my entire study. And if you look into the second one, I don't have loading elsewhere. I have only loadings in the center. Though I have 0.314, but the highest is 0.646. So I consider this as one particular factor. If you look into this, I don't have any loading here. There is a loading as 0.373 and 0.610. This is the highest. So I call this as a third factor. Now, based on my theory, yes, sir. Just let me complete. Just give me 2 minutes. Yes. Based on the theory, based on my strong literature review, I have identified these are all my items or these are all my variables which I'll consider for the study. I made a strong literature review and then concluded on this. I have collected the data using we are using it as a questionnaire. I have collected the data. I made a rigor data and ensured that there are not much of errors. Now, I had a theory. I had converted into a questionnaire. I have collected the data, and that data I'm testing statistically. So what is the statistical test? First test I'm using. I'm trying to find out what are all the factors, because here these are items. I don't want to work on items. I want to work on factors, because each item, for example, if a feedback is given, if you're giving a feedback to me today, on that feedback there will be different items, like whether it was interesting, whether it was interactive, something like that. But finally, at the end of the day, I want to know what is the feedback for me. Simple. What is, tell me in single score. So likewise, you say like training environment is one variable. Great. But finally, you training environment, there are so many variables, time, duration, many things. I can go deeper by looking into the individual item also. But still, overall, how was the training environment? As a person who has conducted the training program, I want to know what is the opinion towards the training program, and what is the overall opinion towards training trainer. So if I want to know that thing, then probably I should go for a factor. How I'll get the factor? For getting the factor, I'll do a factor analysis. What has happened with the collected data? I'm trying to test my theory. So this is the pattern what has been formed. You look into the pattern. If you look into it, trainer presented the content, methodology adopted by the trainer, individual participation and interaction was encouraged during the session, trainer covered the content, trainer collected the feedback. So we are getting a pattern which together we can call it as content delivery, right? So this factor can be called as content delivery. Now I got a factor. Now, if you look into the second one, sufficient breaks were given, and then necessary software were provided in support of the session. Online platform used for the training was easy to access. Duration of the training program is adequate. Cooperation of the support staff was good. Training is held during convenient time and place. See, all these are talking about training environment. Right. Now, training program covered both theory and practical. Material distributed are relevant. Objective for each topics are fixed and implemented.
Content.
Training is okay. We call it as training content. I'm sorry, I'm dragging a little bit because I'm dragging.
Dr. Kumar, is it something that we are for this qualitative data? We are categorizing it or giving a theme to that?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. We have a qualitative data. We want to find out the effectiveness of training. If you say effectiveness of training, the study itself is a qualitative, for which we created some variables, and each variables cannot be measured as like a height or weight directly, which is again an opinion. If I ask you like whether the trainer presented the content with clarity, you cannot give me an exact unit. So this is a qualitative variable. So this qualitative variable is getting converted into a quantitative. How it is getting converted into a quantitative? I used a 5-point scale. What is a 5-point scale? Strongly agree, neutral, something like that, right? So I just want to find out there is a variation. I'm just asking your opinion. And then you gave the opinion. Now this qualitative data is getting slowly converted into a quantitative data. And on that quantitative information, what I got, I'm trying to make certain analysis and prove statistically and say that what is the phenomena that has happened.
Sir, I have one question. Is it possible that in the component matrix, like here we can get very easily all the items aligned to a particular factor, right? But is it possible that the items that we gets aligned to some other factor?
It will
If
happen.
you can just
It will happen.
so
I'll show you that.
So
also.
is it because my data collection has got some error, or the respondent's response is there some error, or I have input the data wrongly, or is it feasible or possible?
I'll show you that. See, this is my. I've not suppressed any of my output. I have not suppressed any of my output. I'm just copy pasting it here. You look into the output. This particular item, out of the 3 component form, it is getting loaded in first, second, and third also. So the highest is what I'm supposed to take. Coming back to your question, if the question like quality of the instructor was good, if it is getting loaded here in the content, for example, instead of taking one item, instead of point, can you see the screen? Everyone can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Point 3.1 here, if I have as 0.321, and then here it is 0.723, something like that. Now this item is coming to the second component. Second component is what? Second component is content delivery. Second component is what your content delivery. Sorry, training environment. So this item has come here. It means there is some error while using this particular, while collecting this particular data. Most of the times you will feel this difficulty. So what is the solution for this? So what is the solution for this? The solution.
That means, sorry, I'm interrupting you. If I've understood this thing correctly, that means, see, one of the items has got more or less high loadings in 2 components.
Okay.
Then not what, 2 component, but in other factors.
Both are.
That means what I'm saying is one of the both are high, 0.72 and 0.86. Then what to do?
Like that, sir? It will not be
no,
like
it will not happen. Yeah, because plus should be 1, equal should be 1.
No.
Okay, let me explain your point.
It cannot be 2 places. It can be aligned to some other factor.
I'll just give that example what you stated. It cannot be 0.73 and 0.72 here. Instead, most of the time you find it as 0.531, and then it will be like 0.537. 0.537. It will be mostly happening with 0.5, right? So by that way, now what I'm supposed to do? It means this particular item itself, what I have used for the questionnaire, this is having equal influence on both. Now, the researcher has to take a call whether I'll include based on 0.537 in the third component or second component. If it is just point wise, 0.53 and 0.54, I'll take a call that I'll not use that item because it's creating confusion for me. It is contributing to both the construct. By that way, that item is not reliable. Relate with our today's morning session, it is not reliable. That item is not reliable.
Got it.
Right.
Okay, sir.
Sir, answering to your, have I answered to your question, sir?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay. Now, what is the solution I'll suggest? See, what will happen is like most of the time, we'll be rolling the same wheel. We'll try to take a topic and we'll say like, no, I myself will create the questionnaire. So what we'll do is like inventing the wheel. So if I take a job satisfaction, there are so much of established scales which are available. And for any topic for that matter, mostly scales will be available. If you take a rare study and if it is more specific, then their items will not be available. Scales will not be available directly. By that way, one option is either you take an established scale, which is already tested and which was cited by many people. It means like many researchers has used and cited that yes, it is valid. You take that scale and you can use it in your research. Nothing wrong in that. Only thing is you have to give the credit for that particular article which you are quoting, number one. Second, if I take my own items, I know the concept. This particular item has been taken from one construct which was used by some researcher. By that way, you make your literature very strong. This item belongs to this particular construct. You make the literature very strong and just go ahead with the concept. You give the title at the initial stage itself. You say content delivery is measured using this item. This item is taken from so and so. This item is taken from so and so. This item is taken from so and so. And fix up your concept and proceed further. This is option number 2. Option 3, you run a factor analysis and see whether you are getting a pattern. If your data is good.
Sir, it's being too hurried. We are not being able to grasp the entire thing. It's being a too hurried session.
Madam, this content itself is like that because we are working on the software. Okay, right.
Then we might require one more session on it, because right now whatever you are telling, we're just hearing.
See,
it's not.
That's what I said. Like, I'm just going to give you some bitter guard. It's like a completely bitter guard session. Here you have to get with me, and we have one more session by morning. We'll touch upon this also. No issues. By time being, like, you just understand that this exploratory factor analysis will try to get you some factors. It will try to reduce the items as factors. It will try to find out which are all the items that are relevant for that factor. All right. So,
sir, actually, hello.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so actually, the problem is that, like, few of us here might have used this. Now, for few of us, we have not used this at all. Sir, it comes at a super speed. By the time you are on point number 4, we are at point number 1.
So,
that's right.
Absolutely. And we want to understand this in details.
The last part, I think we need to just go through once again. The interpretation of results.
See, the scenario is there are certain people who are all in the certain advanced level, and there are many people who are all in the starting level. And the session what we have planned, this particular exploratory factor analysis will go for 4 to 5 hours together. Here, in this particular session, the objective is to tell you what is it and what it works. The objective of the session is to give you an idea like, okay, what is exploratory factor analysis? So we cannot go in detail to a larger extent to make an complete expert in the software, or from novice to a certain level. Here I'm just trying to introduce the test to you and saying like what it is used for. By that way, from here, you will definitely need to attend some 3 to 4 sessions, which will happen quite often. Like you have to go for some SPSS software trainings, which will happen most of the time in a 4 years journey. You can attend, if you attend some 3 to 4, then probably you can understand everything. By now, we are making the best effort possible to say you like what is this is for. That's it. I'm just trying to say that.
Fair enough.
I hope you are with me.
That's what I'm writing in the chat. That's what I'm writing in the chat box also continuously, because today's the first session.
Rajiv sir.
Today's the first session. We need to have a theoretical background also to know the basics and then play with the software actually.
Definitely, sir. It needs lot of effort. For your information, I don't have a statistics background. I'm very poor in mathematics. I don't like statistics at all. But since I want to do my PhD, it took somewhere around 3 years for me to understand all these steps. I tried my level best to introduce you this particular test so that you will be aware while reading in any kind of article or in a thesis, you will be able to relate to some extent, so that you will be definitely relating like, okay, this is what has been mentioned. I can relate to some extent. Then again, you will read. So a lot of self-learning is required.
Yeah. For getting an idea, this is for getting an initial idea. This is okay.
Only
that.
Great.
Yes, that is okay.
And anyway, this will be a recording will be available, right? So we can again
definitely.
But Dr. Rajkumar, totally different, a different kind of a question, a very basic question. So by getting those component brackets, 3 component brackets, theoretical question I'm asking, 3 component, what are we achieving? What are we inferring?
Sir, inference is this. Right, you directed me right in the right way, so that I also will not deviate much.
Sir, may I answer, sir?
Yeah, please, sir. Please, sir.
May I answer?
Yes.
Actually, the main reason why we are doing the factor analysis is like we are trying to reduce the dimensions or the number of items so that it becomes easier to manage. Like basically what we are doing is that we are eliminating the higher correlated factors from the number of items. So that becomes manageable. Like suppose if we are to like enhance our training effectiveness, and there are, say, we have considered about 25 to 26 items, and through a research and through a study, if I can reduce these items to 15 or 16, and under these three factors, then it becomes manageable to address the things.
Okay, if still there is a confusion, I'll just answer. I have training environment variable. Just get back to the questionnaire. I have training environment variable in my questionnaire, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 6. These 6 items are different. It is measuring what? It is measuring training environment. I need one single variable as training environment. And what happened to this? It is measuring content. I need one single variable as content. And all these things are measuring about trainer evaluation. I need one single variable as content delivery. So with this, I'll also be calculating the overall score of after training. I'll not do a factor analysis. I'll try to make an overall score of it. Say, for example, 1 to 8 is there. Assume that you have your subject as first subject as in your MBA, you'll be having as HRM or OB. You have marketing management. You have the same semester, you have statistics. You have management information system. Likewise, you have some 8 subjects. Out of the 8 subjects, you have scored some marks. Different marks. In one it is 80, one it is 90, other one it is 75, something like that. But finally I need like, what is your percentage? So that is what we are trying to do, but we are doing it in a scientific way. So that is what we are trying to do, and then we'll try to compute a mean score. That computing mean score I'll discuss with you tomorrow.
Just
let me rephrase it to understand. I asked this question, so let me just quickly rephrase it. So basically, out of this 19 components, right, we have made it into 3 using this scientific method.
Yes, exactly, sir. Because
exactly, sir.
The base of research is anything you do, it cannot be our own knowledge or our own logic. It should be scientifically proven, because that is what your research work is all about. Once you say like, I have taken this item from one study, you should say like from which study you have taken. That much rigor is required, because research is something which has to be proven scientifically. For scientific proving only, we are making a factor analysis and saying that these items are representing one construct, which is training environment. These items are representing trainer delivery. So we are trying to show the reliability of it. Yes, the questionnaire what I used is reliable, and the result what I'm saying you can depend on. If you say, for example, I just put one more example, I'll take another 2 minutes. If I say like you try to increase 2 advertisements on Sunday, right? To increase 2 advertisement on Sunday for one of the product, say pizza. You increase 2 advertisement on Sunday. It will increase your sale for some 500 rupees or some 5,000 rupees or 5 lakh rupees. If I say that, on what background I'm saying? You increase 2 advertisement on Sunday, that way especially during 1 to 2 or some 5 to 6, something like that. There will be a sale increase in sale of 5 lakh. How I will tell that? For which I should have a data, I should have analyzed, I have collected the data. Because of the advertisement which happened on Sunday during 1 to 2, there should be purchase which have happened. Based on that, I'll say, based on which a company will try to invest. If you want to give such an result, the rigor of way by which you collected the data, the rigor what you have done for making the questionnaire, everything should be scientific. Then I'll say that yes, this result is valid. Whatever you are saying is valid. Am I right? Same way, you take any topic. I'm saying like factors. Okay, right. I'm taking like any topic. Motivating employees leads to loyalty. I'm saying like you motivate the employees by giving work from home option. From where I got this option? Who will rely on me? So finally, it should be proven, for which I should have a strong rigor in creating a questionnaire, good data collection, statistically proven result. Then I'll say like, yes, you increase this particular, you try to give work from home option, your employees will be loyal. So in order to substantiate my result at the back end, I have to do so much of rigorness, scientific rigor. That is what we are trying to do using one of the tool called factor analysis. Am I able to justify this particular session, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
Very hard.
Thank you.
So I know that
subject in that way.
Dr. Kumar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, though I know that everybody is led, but then I have just a small query on that particular questionnaire that you have shown, where you have actually used to collect the data. We have actually got those, the content delivery when we are talking about that factor. All this, the questions were arranged in that particular questionnaire sequentially.
Sir, it was made for a training purpose, but while giving while framing the question also, you try to give a little bit of sequence so that the respondent is not getting confused.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. I mean, if it is like not given in a particular sequence, but I have a randomization in that thing.
You can do it, sir, but what will happen is like we are talking about the respondent mindset. Once you talk about respondent mindset, if you give a kind of a flow, they will relate and then they'll come slowly. If I ask one question on trainer presented the content clearly, and I'm having one question like training program covered theoretical and practical, may be relevant. But if I ask about material distributed or relevant, if I shuffle to a larger extent, it will confuse the respondent.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, right. But again, I'm for all the participants, all the scholars, I'm again making a statement. This needs to be learned in the long run. And for your information, the candidates or scholars who are all in the verge of completion and who have collected their data, they are still struggling in this area after 3 years of time period. After that also, they were not in a position to learn to a larger extent. That is the core of this particular topic. Means like data analysis is not that easy. It will come step by step. You have just, my intention is to give an overview on it, and ultimately, yes, I want to confuse you so that you start learning each and every topic slowly in a phase wise. Fortunately, like it is not like a physical environment where I'll teach you and then I leave it there. Now you have a recording, go through the content step by step, use it for the next 3 years or 4 years, slowly check into each and every step. Definitely you can learn. I'll tell you, like, if you learn this, you will be one among the 1,000. If you learn this data analysis, you are one among the 1,000. Hardly you will find people who are all good in data analysis, for which lot of patience, lot of commitment, and lot of practice is required. Right? So, am I clear with the objective, sir?
Everyone? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes. Thank you.
Will there be a quiz or something on this?
Yeah, ma'am.
Dr. Rajkumar, I know we are running out of time, but I really need to understand one thing not related to the tool itself or data analysis itself. One of our colleagues had raised a question around randomizing the questionnaire. And your response to that was that the flow of thoughts could get hampered if we do that from a respondent's perspective. So there is a possibility, we cannot eliminate that completely. There could be a possibility of what we call the cognitive bias. Is that also taken into consideration during data analysis or during any of the stages of research?
Ma'am, in analysis, the biasness will not be considered to a larger extent. During data collection only, the researcher has to make some rigor so that the biasness is eliminated. Of course, we cannot remove all the biasness. Definitely there will be bias. That's why we say for social science research, my study has 95% results which you can rely on, but 5% there will be error. So biasness,
that error will take into consideration not just socio-economical bias, but also cognitive bias.
It will be there, ma'am. It will be there. If I give a questionnaire by today, your response will be something. If I give after 5 days, your response will be something. That is the beauty of our social science research. People's mindset will not be the same. There will be so many factors which will be changing. Earlier, work from home option for certain sectors, it is no way it is possible. But today we are into work from home in most of the sectors. So by that way, yes, there are changes, there are scenarios, many things are happening. That is why a lot of research is happening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, is the session ending, or will there be a quiz right now?
It's ended. We'll have a quiz. Sorry for the delay. I tried my level best to make you understand as much concept as possible. So it took some time. So kindly bear with me. I know I have crossed the session time, but still just spend with me some 5 minutes time so that your quiz will get over.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can you give the name of the book that you mentioned?
Sir, I'll just send in WhatsApp, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'll just send the WhatsApp. Just bear with me for another 3-4 minutes. I'll just start the quiz and then we can wind up. Okay, stop share. Now I'll copy paste in your chat box. Chat box. And someone type, okay, I got the chat box. Now just copy and paste this testmos.com/4453806. You copy and paste this in Google. Just copy and paste it.
testmos.com/445.
It's asking for a name and passcode.
Name should be your own name. Please mention your full name because it's a part of your evaluation. So please